Epic. A Dear Scott Moe, Danielle Smith video. Two premiers right here in Canada, Alberta, Saskatchewan, who make a list of demands to the federal government. Half of them implemented by the Liberal Party of Canada, the other half by the Conservative Party of Canada. You can't have both. You can't get anything you want done in this country. No province can see that effectually happen. And if you doubt that, President Donald J. Trump made it crystal clear. If Danielle Smith was not paying attention in the G7, Donald J. Trump told you, why isn't China here? I'm here to negotiate with Canada. Why isn't China here? That's because Canada is China. China is Canada. It's called the Canada-China-Sino deal, better known as FIPA. We have 31 years to go on that agreement. There is no way out of it for any province or territory, let alone any peoples in Canada. You are lock, stock, and barrel sold to that communist China. Your government explicitly did that. That was both conservatives and liberals. Conservatives put it in. Liberals voted it through with the conservatives. It was done under Harper. Gives away all sovereignty to China for all our major resources. And everything that China signed up for, you have to compensate. You, the Canadian people, that's me, that's all of you, need to compensate them for each and every loss they experience. And this will continue for the next 31 years. What did Canadians get from China in that agreement? Zero, nothing. The only people who got rich were the Liberal Party of Canada and the Conservative Party of Canada. Danielle Smith is lock, stock, barrel sold to the Conservative Party of Canada in their knee deep. She even floor crossed, screwed Alberta right over. Now, I'm going to give Scott Moe a free pass on this, but you gotta get wise. You gotta start learning our system, a corrupt system you all take advantage of, because Scott Moe has stood up, everybody. He is the only premier I know to stand up to a number of policies. Yes, those are liberal policies, and yes, it's been effectual for USA trade for Saskatchewan, but that's it. That's all. And of course, nuclear is huge for the United States of America. Scott Moe was wise to do his COP presentation, while Danielle Smith went again with what? The Conservative Party of Canada's vision, which doesn't include the United States, which includes communist China. Now, all of this and the tanker bans and the No More Pipelines bill, Tidewater, get it out there. I was a strong advocate for that many years ago, to Europe and others. But none of those trade deals have gone through. In fact, we're not getting any of those. Now, your Mark Carney, he's going there this Sunday. He's supposedly going to get a deal. And I'm going to tell everybody right now, I'm going to tell you I can see the future. We're going to be in step setting up for World War III. Not USA and Iran. And I want people to be crystal clear about this. I already did a Dear Tucker Carlson. And you know what's funny? Tucker ended up apologizing to Donald J. Trump over some of the harshness and comments he made. Because I'm going to tell you something. The Russian system and the way Russia is, a border country of Iran, who in fact in its history had portions of what was the Persian Empire, long gone. So everybody knows Iran and what we look in the Middle East, when we get into Israel, Egypt, the rest of that was a different empire. That's called the Ottoman Empire. Russia has strong roots in both. for many, many hundreds, if not nearly 1,000 years. Russia's history with those. This is their sphere of influence. World War I with the crown colonials, which the Ottoman Empire was one. That's not Iran, known as Tehran. Those are not the same thing. Israel and Iran are two different systems completely. Two very different systems. To find the Persian Empire, Iran, known as Tehran, in the old books, to find a time when they actually held Israel and others, you have to go back to 300 BC. That's many, many 2,000 and almost 400 years ago, folks. Okay? Ottoman Empire is the other half of the equation, all rerouted by the crown, British Empire, French Empire, and other colonials, because it was a colonial war. One, that's where Israel comes into play here, created by the British Empire. Two very different systems. Now, USA is in there expanding its sphere of influence, yes, against Russia, because Russia has always been expanding its sphere of influence. USA and Russia do this. They were at one time just middle powers, not so very long ago. In fact, they both sprung up from World War II, being the most powerful they ever have been. And in fact, the former Soviet Union expanded much greater and further in reach just because of what? Proximity. When we call it a proxy war, proximity war. Sphere of influence. USA and Russia have been battling. Russia had way more than the USA. Both strong powers. But under the Soviet Union, Russia was much, much larger. These are all proxy wars in proximities, taking sphere of influence, fighting one another for it. And then you got China in there. UK and France, diminishing spheres of influence. Currently, France has the European Union. They are one of the powers, one of the allies with veto power, considerable power. They have it over the EU. They are the UNSC member of the EU. Third largest combined economy in the world. USA, China, EU. That's how it works. France has control of that. As you know, UK left that system. UK has a Commonwealth system. Very strong as well too. Massive population on this earth. But they created the Israel of today. The Israel post-World War I. All that conflict, all largely UK. Now, USA's in there to diminish UK, take its sphere of influence, and yes, that includes Israel. Will there be a World War III out of any of that? Show me, everybody, a world war of any caliber out of any Middle East. There isn't. But out of a third largest economy in the world, Europe, Ukraine, Russia, there's your World War III. And that's where Canada is, and a whole pile of what were Axis powers. People need to wake up. USA and Russia have a clear history of fighting sphere of influence against each other since World War II, and this is never going to change. The conflicts in the Middle East are never going to change, and they've certainly, over thousands of years, never led to any world wars. Have they been part and parcel, and then when one's going on the other? Sure. But economy-wise, third largest economy in the world, European Union, at one time was the economy of the world, ran everything, much larger in comparison to the rest of the world. That's not the way of the world today, and people need to move on. Canadians can't do it. You're pre-programmed in your brain. You were educated this way as subjects, that somehow Europe is the almighty godsend. They're not. Could that lead to a World War III? Yes. And that's Ukraine, Russia. That's where it's at, not the Middle East. There won't be with Iran or former Ottomans or Israel or any of it. It's not going to happen. And yes, USA is going to flex, and Russia's going to flex too. And if you are foolish enough as a country, which I'm pretty sure right now Benjamin Netanyahu regrets a lot of decisions he did. Now, I'm not going to prove anything. I just know, in everything I've read in history since World War II, those who get involved combating against Russia or USA always end up on the shit list, which is Canada now. You've placed yourself on a shit list. You've trusted the crown. Danielle Smith, Scott Moe, to tie this in a bow and put it back to the beginning. You can't shake China. Not on your life. You've already taken investments. You're locked in for 31 years. Even Donald J. Trump knows this. Why do you think he made his comment at the G7? Danielle Smith, why did you go to Pete Hoekstra following my lead? Now you're there. I thought you were good friends with Donald J. Trump. I happen to live in the Trump house. My landlady may just turn over those pictures. I don't know yet. She's saying, well, let me think about it a bit. She has clear, crystal clear pictures of herself and Donald, herself and Melania, and other central figures here. Way better than the Premier of Alberta's pictures, which I knew she was a bullshitter. She's in bed with federal government, crossed the floor, hasn't done anything to get rid of any of these things, these barriers that are there, that provinces have condemned themselves with. And foolishly, Canadian subjects want to believe these liars who are not there for us. They're not. And they're never going to achieve the things they say, because that would mean ending your allegiances and alliances with those who got you the rise to power. And I know she's corrupted with all of them, and it's never going to happen. Just like the Liberals, NDP, and Conservatives are all lockstep with each other. Jason Kenney, all of his ministry and appointments, NDP, Liberal, Conservative, didn't matter. All from all kinds of parties. Danielle Smith carried it on. Albertans don't want to wake up. We haven't had a decent premier since Ralph Klein. That's your last one. And now we're at the end of the line, and America knows. Donald J. Trump and the Trump administration, they know. Why do you think they don't give two shits about talking to any premiers? They don't give a shit. Because you don't have any sovereignty, none whatsoever. You sold your souls a long time ago. And you really don't want independence. You're not going to pursue it. There's a legal way to do that. You've never gone to the Allies. They have the power. They don't even want to do provincial constitutionalism. That says it all. And that's with my work with real American academics who are in lockstep with the presidency. Even the Democrat side, they all know. They know that these provinces and territories are as corrupt, if not mega more corrupt, than even the federal government. They're never going to deal with them because they know what you're trying to recreate and do. Oh yeah, just give me all the power. Let me be a super tyrant at this level. Let me be a pig at the trough too in my own way, with even less rules that currently are on the federal government. You think the Americans are like, yep, we want more dictators. If you watch Tucker Carlson's full interview, watch it. When you watch that full interview that's going around, Donald J. Trump said, yeah, now he's kind of apologized. Watch all of that. What state power and what the federal government can do outside of the states on the international stage to countries like Canada, that says it all. And you should really understand it. Watch that interview and understand. Canada, you're never going to get anywhere with where things are. You need to pursue Canada, the 51st state. If Scott Moe and Danielle Smith want all of those items, you get that right now as a 51st state of the Union, Canada-wide. That should be your narrative. Because you can't do any of those things. You can't roll the clock back. You can't undo a deal you made with a P5 member, Communist China. It's a contract. You owe, you pay. You sold your soul to the WTO amongst all kinds of other NGOs through what? The United Kingdom. USA can't end UK. USA can't end Russia. They can't end China. They agreed to those terms. USA sticks with their deals. That's my video, folks. There's a lot in here, a lot people need to read. Learning the world as it really is. And when people are bullshitting you. And it just amazes me that in all of their asks, against the Liberals, against the Conservatives, and the rest of the filthy crown. Why don't you just go Canada, the 51st state? You get all of it. All of it. Well, no, I don't want that. This sounds good. I just want to be a tyrant my own way. I want the sovereignty for me and my crown friends, not the people of Alberta and Saskatchewan. We don't even want to release the crown lands. That's ours. We want it all for us. Little mini me Trudeaus. That's what we want. USA, help. USA is not going to help make more and more tyrants. They're done with tyrants. Watch the Tucker Carlson interview. You can hear it. You can hear it out of the senator's mouth. Florida. And what does he say? We want to end those tyrants. We want the power to the people. And that's really the truth of it. Excellent interview when you watch it all the way through. God bless everybody. That's my video. Share, share, share. Get it out there. Huge amounts of knowledge and real truth here. Credible, real, 100% undeniable. Bye now.